Okay, we should be live now. I still have to put in the new Jamal Adams trade, so we're going to do that now. To the Bears. How we doing, everybody? Happy Victory Monday for those who are celebrating. Where's Milano? Oh, he's a middle linebacker. And then we'll just swap sevens and re-swap them. And I also have to make sure the Browns' depth chart is updated with Jamal Adams, playing. Also, side note, IT Thomas, that's not IT Thomas. IT Thomas is a 94 overall. I don't know how he has consistently games with under 4 yards a carry as a 94 overall. That's honestly impressive. Alright, so it should be Adams, Bosa, and Ajabo. It only says there's 2 here, but it's showing 3 on the depth chart, so I'm pretty sure it's right. Okay, now that that's done, I can actually open up the chat. I haven't even checked if the audio works. No one said anything, so I assume it's good. What's good, Pokemon, SGYT, C-Mill, Nickinator? How we doing, fellas? Yeah, well, we can scroll through cap space real quickly. The victory for my squad is not winning. You're 1 game closer to Will Anderson. That's how you can look at it. Also, I haven't even made Jack Jackson the starter yet. I still have to do that as well. I've been talking that up, but I haven't done it yet. We have $7 million. But, our whole team is on 1-year deals, so that $7 million is going to be, more. We want depth chart. Make Clay Webb starting right guard and Tyson Campbell and Young corners 1 and 2. It's been real mediocre, Malik. Who do we want with the Niners? Yup. Boom. Yeah, you guys can pick your X factors. That's allowed. If you have 3 or less on a certain side of the ball, then you don't have to do that. This only applies to people who have 3 or more on both sides of the ball. So, if you have 4 X factors on defense, then you can only pick 3 to have, their zone ability. Holy hell, the Bears have 6. I didn't realize they had that many. Their cornerback room is awful, though. They traded their 2 good young corners, who should have been their starters for the future. But, if you have 3 X factors on offense and 3 on defense, then all of them can have their zone abilities on. Willie Gay and Mike Evans suspended. I didn't see the Mike Evans play. I was trying to see I saw it more in Marshawn Lattimore's perspective because I wanted to see what he did and if he really deserved to get tossed because I know a lot of people didn't think so. I didn't see what Mike Evans did, but I think did he throw a punch or something? So in that case, yeah, I get it. I mean, Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore aren't necessarily friends, put it that way. Willie Gay's on. Well, Willie Gay's not getting suspended in OFL. He's getting suspended in real life. I don't care. I think I was looking it up before we started. I think it was because of like something he did in January, like he broke a vacuum cleaner or something. I don't know how true that is, but he's not getting suspended for breaking a vacuum cleaner here. Put it that way. Is Noah Sewell X? Well, I don't know. We should have scrolled by you guys, so hopefully you got your answer. Yeah, it seemed like Mike Evans instigated it, which would obviously explain why he's getting suspended and nothing for the other guys. All right, I think we're good. I think we can start now. So we've got the Shamrocks and the Vikings. This should be something. It'll be something. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2. 1. That is Dublin. So we will use her for Shamrocks. How do we all like the Echo? Okay, there we go. We want Dublin. They're at the bottom. It looks like the Niners and Vikings is winning the other week. Do we really want to watch the Vikings twice? Do we really want to do that, guys? Do we really want to watch this team twice? For our own sake, I feel like as the owner of this team, I should have veto power on not letting us be watched twice. And I think we have a better chance of winning a watch game than a sim game. So it's not even like us not being watched helps us. Alright, is Dublin's coach here? It doesn't look like it. So I guess we can pick for them. Do we want white or do we want like their dark green? I feel like they always wear green. I wouldn't mind changing it up, but what does everybody else want? As for us... why don't we do some of the older ones? Yeah, we'll rock with that. White, okay. Seems like we're on the same page. Alrighty, we're now in the middle of the season. We have made it to week 9. Is he still wearing 21? No, I'm fixing that. Hold on. We're changing that. He's not wearing 21. That's disgusting. Do I not have anybody available in, like, the first 20 numbers? Yeah, we need to fix that, like, immediately. That's gross. We want the Vikings, and we want Jack to wear a reasonable number. Why did I quit? Because Jack Jackson's wearing 21, and it's disgusting. $15, $14, $10, $2. I kind of dig 15. We'll do 15. What's the problem with 21? Because that's not a quarterback number. That's like Jonathan Taylor wearing 19, which we still have to see today, by the way. What do we want for jerseys? Dublin is good, and we were doing the alternate classic. Yeah, that one. All right, now we're good. Remember when Dan was drafted and his number was 29? Yeah, that's gross. All right, we get to see the defense out on the field first against possible future Viking quarterback Lamar Jackson. I guess I might as well spill the dirty laundry. So for those who are unaware, since the last stream, I have deals agreed upon for both Lamar Jackson and Hector Estrada. So before the trade deadline, which is the next stream, I have to figure out which one of those trades I want to do, if I even want to do one of them. If Jack Jackson plays really well in both games today, then maybe I just stick with him. Keep in mind, Lamar and Hector are both free agents at the end of the year. They're both going to need extensions. But if Lamar carves my defense up, and that's not a great start, if he carves us up, that might give me more reason to, want him. Why would Hector trade himself? I don't know, but we agreed to a deal. So, he seems like he wants to start either Jacoby Brissett or Tim Robinson. I think that's his third stringer's name. Isaiah Likely will likely have a big day against this defense. Hector's preying on his own downfall. Know exactly what you would pick. I know which way I'm leaning, but I want to see what Jack Jackson does today before I figure it out. And I also think my deal with Hector would probably get vetoed. So I also would have to make a new trade because, the trade deadline's coming up. I'm not going to have many chances to, get a good deal in. Lamar Jackson sacked in the pocket. There's a nice play. Is that Logan Wilson? I don't know why he's going after a quarterback, but I guess I'll take it. Why does Isaiah Likely get so many catches? He's not Kyle Pitts, because Kyle Pitts doesn't catch the ball. Isaiah Likely does. Because Arthur Smith is a doofus, but that's neither here nor there. Should the Ravens continue to sell or stay put? I guess keep selling if you keep getting good deals. Don't trade for the purpose of trading unless you get a trade that's, good. He's Florida Kyle Pitts. Yeah, that's a better description. He's Kyle Pitts when Kyle Pitts is actually being used, which is not in Atlanta. Free Kyle Pitts to a real offense, like Detroit or something. TJ Hawkinson and, a second-round pick for Kyle Pitts. Who says no? That honestly seems like a perfectly fair deal for both sides. Hawkinson's more the traditional tight end, which I think Arthur Smith would prefer, and Kyle Pitts is just, better. He's better now, and he's going to be better in the future than Hawkinson. If the Lions did that, I would be happy. And if Atlanta's not going to use him, they might as well, get something for him. So here's Jack Jackson making his first start as a Viking. He's thrown one pass so far, which he has completed. Kyle Pitts should go to Baltimore. You already have a tight end fetish. Give you a second unlikely. Imagine Kyle Pitts and Mark Andrews together. That would be scary, especially if Rashad Bateman, who's proving to be a good player. Wow, who saw that one coming? Wink, wink. I'm very happy my guy Bateman's been, good. Jackson will get a Hail Mary touchdown. I don't know. We got to be in it at the end for that to happen. Yeah, I thought you meant Jack Jackson, but I guess that could work for the other Jackson. Pass is incomplete. I think it's going to be a hold. Oh! That's an automatic first down. Jelani Salami, the former Viking, clutches us out with the roughing the passer. The Bateman and Kirk agendas are very good so far. The Christian Kirk agenda is kind of new, though. That was only something I started a couple of weeks ago. But I drafted him in almost every league that I'm in because I was when I was thinking about it, I think Jacksonville signed him with a plan on how they were going to use him. There's a reason why they paid him so much money, and clearly I've been right about that so far. And Bateman I've liked since he was in college. Can we run the ball, please? Well, we ran the ball. We didn't run the ball well. Death, taxes, and the Vikings not being able to run in short yardage situations. You see Galladay? It doesn't seem like Galladay will get cut, but, I mean, it's possible. But that's a lot of dead money. That seems like a lot of dead money that they'd be losing. But I think he only played 2 snaps yesterday. So his tenure there continues to not be good. And that looks like one of the worst free agent signings in recent memory. I remember during Galladay's last season when he was with us, I wanted us to pay him. But once we got to the offseason, I kind of changed my mind on that, and obviously I was right. What the hell was that coverage? Why was there nobody back deep? Why was Logan Wilson, who's a linebacker, the only guy back deep? That seems pretty stupid. This is like Washington trying to cover Amon-Ra St. Brown yesterday. They just couldn't. Just like our defense apparently couldn't. AJ Terrell moment. That is what AJ Terrell would do. You're not wrong. Wink Martindale to be putting an edge rusher on a running back. How are we winning? Because we suck. We're 2-6. Our team is not good. They should be good. We have one of, if not the highest rated teams in the league, but we're not good. Lamar Jackson scoring at will in the first quarter while the other team is booty. Where have I seen this before? I mean, Terry McLaurin and Henry Ruggs can hopefully be, Reek and Waddle. I would say Bateman, but I'm pretty sure he's injured. So, unfortunately, we can't have him help. You should, trade me Terry. I should, not do that. Lost to the Pats, no excuse. Well, the Niners lost to the Bears. It doesn't make the Bears good or the Niners bad. We don't talk about Tyreek. Now let's talk about Waddle. There we go. Hey, we converted a first down. Jack has been efficient so far, but he hasn't made any wow throws. I need to see a couple wow throws from him to make me want to invest in him and not trade for one of the 2 quarterbacks. We also need to run the ball well, but, we just don't run it well in watch games. You ever think about changing your playbook or scheme? The thing is, the New Orleans scheme has always, worked for me, at least in Sim. So, maybe that could do it, but I think, at least in watch games, I think schemes and playbooks are a little bit overhyped in a way. I don't know how much of a difference they make. Maybe they do make a difference and I just don't realize it, but I'm not sure if it's, that huge of a thing. And we ran a different scheme when we had Antonio Gibson, and we still could not run the ball in short yardage then. There's a good run, though, for Mr. Najee Harris. The Saints scheme doesn't work with Fields, led you to a number 1 pick. It's not going to have an 100% work percentage, but it should work. I don't know how well it is in Madden 23 since they don't have Sean Payton anymore. I think a lot of it is because of, Sean Payton. It seems like all the really good offensive schemes over the past few years, all those teams have new coaches. So, like, the Bears one has always been a really good one. The Saints, obviously, has been my go-to. There are a few other ones as well. The Chargers, that one always puts up good numbers. And all those teams have hired new coaches within the past, like, year or two. They do make a difference because EA can't make a realistic game. I guess that's fair enough. Good touchdown also for what it's worth. Najee ran it well. Yeah, the Titans one I've had success with, and I guess they don't have a new coach. Neither did the Chiefs. So, I mean, I guess those are good ones. I think New England's is usually surprisingly pretty solid as well. Ironic with who their offensive coordinator currently is. Remember when Trace McSorley beat the Wizards, and we had the Trace McSorley song on for a good, like, minute? That was fun. All right, let's see if the defense wakes up. The Shamrocks are not starting with good field position. Shout out to the special teams for doing something good. Lamar is 6 for 6 for 150. I think he kind of wants to be a Viking. I mean, Lamar's the most winningest quarterback in OFL history if you combine all the OFLs. I mean, I won 3 reigns with him as a starter, so... I mean, I've had success with him. I think he's won an OFL ball in every iteration of OFL that we've done. Except for this year. I'm pretty sure we play the Huskies in Week 11, so we're watching this twice in a row today, and we're probably going to watch this in Week 11, especially if I do trade for Hector. Like, if I choose Hector, I feel like we have to watch that game. Would have been nice to get a link to this. Well, if you're subscribed to the channel, then that shouldn't be an issue. Did I not put the link in, though? Although, if you're subscribed, you should still, get it. Yeah, I never did make an announcement. That would be a smart idea. Can our defense, wake up? This is pretty bad. There's Lamar's first incompletion of the day, and it's because he on purposely threw an incompletion. Welcome in, Denmark. How you doing? There was, nobody on the right side of the field. Jonathan Taylor has 101 receiving yards. I take it that he had the long touchdown early in the game. And I probably didn't think much of it because 19's a wide receiver number. Remember the kid spamming the hub server? That could have been avoided. Well, we're not looking for new admins, currently. And, I mean, I was there within, 5 minutes. So, I don't know if that would have stopped anything. Two-minute warning here in the first half. If we can keep it as a one-score game going into the second half, I think that would be a success. Well, it's not a one-score game currently. Lamar Jackson with his second touchdown of the game. Who's 11? I don't know Dublin's jersey numbers. Terrace Marshall. Bro was on Deshaun Watson mode. 17-4. Let's not get crazy. We have a rookie quarterback who's never played before in his first 2-minute drill. So, I wouldn't be so confident. Grubhub food porn. Lamar Jackson, you are an OFL Viking. We'll put it this way. It's more likely I choose him than it was 20 minutes ago. Carl Lawson with the sack. Jack had no time to throw there. Your defense is not the worst in the league. London literally exists. You're not even the worst defense in your continent. Okay, you know what? Maybe I spoke too soon. That was pretty bad coverage. An 86-yard touchdown for Michael Pittman. And the Vikings are back on the board. You could combine the two European defenses together, and I guess they would still be horrible. So it is a one-score game again. Good work for the offense. We might have given Lamar too much time, though. Ravens type coverage against Tyreek Hill there. Only difference is Michael Pittman doesn't have world-class speed. At least the Ravens have an excuse. The special teams has been good today. The Shamrocks have consistently started inside the 20. So, I guess that's fun. Does our team know we're supposed to cover Jonathan Taylor? He has like 6 catches for like 130 yards. So week 2 was weird. Yes, it was. Week 2 was very weird. I'm still far from sold on Tua, but obviously his stock is up. Even if his receivers made a lot of plays for him, Tua obviously still deserves a ton of credit. No way they catch this, right? Oh, it's caught, but not by them! An interception for Jair Alexander. Good work from the secondary. Lamar just kind of said, F it, I'm going to launch it downfield. And usually that works, but not that time. We could take the lead before halftime. And we start with the ball in the second half. So that interception could prove to be a really big deal. I think Jack, for the most part, has been quite good. I would still say I'm leaning on trading for one of the QBs, but this is a classic Octi L. In what way? Oh, God, that should have been intercepted. If the Ravens lose to... Did the Ravens play the Patriots this week? I have a feeling Baltimore is going to come out with a vengeance this week. Against whoever they play, whether it's New England or somebody else. So it doesn't look like we're going to score off the turnover. You're losing to Dublin. Well, yeah, Dublin's better. I would hope they're beating us. I would say I'm pretty encouraged with how the first half has gone, minus the fact that we don't seem to care about covering Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, New England's coming off a win. Baltimore's coming off an embarrassing loss, and Baltimore's better. So I would be quite surprised if the Ravens didn't win fairly convincingly. But it's the NFL, and the NFL has been really weird this year. So I guess anything can happen. Okay, let's not let them score before halftime. If I was them, I would probably look to take a shot out of bounds. Like, complete a pass and then go out of bounds and then maybe kick a field goal. Hail Mary is also an option as well, which it looks like that's what they're going to do. The Hail Mary success rate in OFL 22 has been, well, it hasn't been 0, put it that way. Why would he throw it behind the line of scrimmage? That was stupid. And they're not even going to run another play. Don't really think Dublin's... We're 2-6. Dublin's not better than us on paper, but we're 2-6. Dublin has, what, 5 wins? 4 or 5 wins? So overall, not a bad first half. The pass defense was bad, but the rest of our team was fine. Playing as the Chiefs against the Bills on all Madden mode. Wish me luck. Well, you don't have Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs, so you might need luck. Yeah, roster-wise, they're better than us, but we're also better than the 6 teams who we've lost to. So Unfortunately, games are not won on paper. Okay, we don't need to see highlight. We don't need to see Jack Jackson getting sacked into oblivion, EA. Thanks for telling me I need new offensive tackles. Playing on Madden 12. Okay, well, I guess you get to keep Tyreek Hill then. We need to score at least points on this drive. If we don't score, that would be a failure. A field goal would be okay, but we just need points. 3rd and 1. What do we do here? Normally, I would say run the ball, but with our team, I don't know if that's smart. Because I do not trust his team to run the ball. Oh, we got it. We didn't get much, but we got it. That works. Jack under more. He's been under a lot of pressure today. Our offensive line's been kind of cheeks. Right as I say that, the offensive line pulls a great block. Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is him. He is that dude. I am not surprised at all that he's this good this early on. I think in 2 years he'll be in the tier 1 wide receiver conversation. So as long as he has a quarterback, a competent quarterback throwing him the ball, which is to be seen, then I think in 2 years from now he'll be consensus top 5. I think that's how good he is. How did the Browns give up less than 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes? Because they're the Browns. And as Juju said, the Browns is the Browns. Najee's having a nice little drive here. How did Najee play yesterday? I didn't really pay as much attention to that game. I just know Mitch was Mitch. Najee had 49 rushing yards with a low yards per carry. Jets future, Garrett Wilson and Joe Flacco. Did you guys see the NFL's Twitter post of like, look at all these young quarterbacks who won today? And they showed a bunch of young quarterbacks, and they also had a picture of Joe Flacco. Another nice run for Najee. And Carl Lawson is hurt. That's kind of the big deal. He had a sack earlier. He's been pretty good. Top 3 in passing yards. And he has to do it on the Jets, who don't have much on offense other than Garrett Wilson. Tua Wentz Flacco. Who would have seen that coming? Definitely the most likely 3. EA is rigging it for Minnesota. I highly doubt that. Michael Pittman with his 2nd touchdown of the game. Pittman's been quite good in this one. Jack with his 2nd score of the game, and the Vikings are winning against a good team. We're Dublin. We're Minnesota. What do you expect? We're not supposed to be winning. Joe Flacco has a career record of 18-3 versus the Browns. Jimmy Haslam is not the owner of the Browns. It's actually Joe Flacco. For a second, I thought we were on offense. I thought that was intercepted for a split second there. Jonathan Taylor's not been very good on the ground. As good as he's been as a receiver, or should I say, as lack of coverage we've put on him, in the pass game. He has not ran it very well on run plays. Look at him again, wide open. Lamar didn't even throw it to him. But we are literally refusing to cover Jonathan Taylor. And that's kind of dumb. I don't make depth chart changes in game, and also for your own sake, that probably wouldn't really help you guys. That wasn't Jonathan Taylor's fault. That was just good defense. Who's 69? Nice. Oliver. I don't know who that is. P. Oliver. Does not ring a bell, but nice play. Thin's Kami's score prediction. That's the game I wanted to watch over my own game, ironically enough. But my gut tells me the Dolphins win by double digits. But Madden's not very predictable. Washington's good, but I just don't trust Washington as much. They feel a little bit more inconsistent. I feel like I trust Aaron Rodgers more than I trust Justin Herbert. Another good throw. I'm quite impressed. I still need to see what he can do in a sim game. Which, now that I think about it, we won't because we're watching our game next week. If we can score another touchdown, we'll be pretty much set. Up by 11. AFC North did get destroyed yesterday, and I picked all AFC North teams to win, and they all lost. Way to help me out, AFC North. But that division, as we know, is... It's the Big Ten of the NFL. Put it that way. And that's not even really an insult, because the Big Ten's good. Imagine picking AFC North teams to win. I should just pick against the AFC North every week, and when they play against each other, just pick a tie. That's the most AFC North-like ending, a tie. It should have happened with the Bengals and the Steelers. Knowing the NFL, it's definitely going to happen on Thursday night. Steelers and Browns is going to be tied at the end of the game at like 6-6. The Browns are going to score 2 field goals, and the Steelers are going to get 3 safeties. Another sack for Dublin. Mike Edwards. That's their 4th sack of the game. And they've had a few other plays where Jack's been under a lot of pressure. Third down and 21 at the 23. Dublin kind of needs to stop here. Just overthrown. That was a good read, but a little bit offline. Not going to be perfect with the Rook. So Dublin's still in it. They're only down by 7. They have not scored in the second half, but they can still tie it here. And with how our defense played in the first half, and considering their quarterback is Lamar Jackson, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm confident about this. With how well the Ravens have thrown the ball today, the Shamrocks have thrown the ball today, and since this is like, passing situation the rest of the game, they should be able to score. Matt Corral better than Jack Jackson. I mean, Jack's only played one game, and he's looked darn good. If Dublin ends up with a losing record, that would be hilarious, especially after starting 4-0. All because of their choke against Toronto with the Hail Mary at the end of the game. Oh, look, Jonathan Taylor was not covered again. Matt Corral, all other OFL quarterbacks. Then why has Matt Corral played on a new team in all 4 years he's played? Nice hit. How about Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz's team lost in real life, so what about him? It wasn't really Wentz's fault the offense was bad in the first half. We just set so much pressure. Because Aiden Hutchinson is him, and the rest of the pass rush was pretty good too. Although Wentz still had his Wentz throws that looked really bad. We had a couple of dropped interceptions. But he put up a lot of fantasy points yesterday. So, I mean, I guess that counts for something. How many sacks does Hutch have? Hutch did not have any in the first game, and yesterday he had 3. So, he's at 3 for the year. And he got injured celebrating. So, hopefully it's a lesson learned not to pull off a Stephen Tulloch. Because that would be bad. Still will never be better than Myles Garrett. I mean, yeah, Myles Garrett's the best edge rusher in the NFL, so... I mean, chances are he won't be. That's a pretty high ceiling to get to. Indeed, being shut out by the Jags is the next level of irony. I feel like the Jags aren't that bad of a team. I mean, they're kind of like the Jets. Like, I've been hyping up the Jets all offseason because I think their roster is legitimately good. The Jags are in the same boat. The Jags also had a productive free agency, even if they overspent. I was right about Christian Kirk. He's been really good. And I'm far more confident about the Jaguars' QB situation than the Jets right now. And I'm also more confident about the Jags' coaching situation than the Jets. So, especially being in a weak division, the Colts are bad so far. The Texans are bad. I don't trust the Titans. The Jags very well could win the AFC South. I don't think it's that far-fetched. Unlike the Jaguars' defense, our defense is not playing well on this stride, though. Now that Trevor doesn't have a grinder at coach, he can actually play. Some of Salah's interview answers that I've seen on Twitter over the past week seem very questionable. I really liked the hire when they made it, but I've kind of lost some faith. And it's kind of unfortunate because I think Joe Douglas, the GM, is really good. But I don't really trust Salah. But if they were to eventually fire Salah in a year or two, say that doesn't work out, I hope Joe Douglas gets to stick around because I think he knows what he's doing. So if the Jets do win 4 or 5 games this year, then I think Salah should probably be on the hot seat. All right, can Jack Jackson lead us down the field to win the game? If Jack Jackson can do it here, then he'll put himself in a good position to maybe be the starter of the rest of the year. Maybe we don't get Lamar or Hector. If Jack Jackson plays well, I might as well keep him. Unlike Lamar or Hector, or Malik Willis for that matter, I would not have to pay Jack Jackson. One coach that I really like is Mike McDaniel. I think sometimes those out-of-the-box hires like McDaniel's can really work out well, and so far he definitely has. It's obviously early, but he seems to be quite good. How do you feel about Josh McDaniels starting 0-2? I mean, I wouldn't say I'm that surprised. The Raiders have a brutal schedule. They have underperformed, to what their roster is. I wasn't huge on the Josh McDaniels hire or their front office moves, but I do think they really improved their roster in the offseason, and I was pretty high on them going into the year. But, I mean, the Chargers game, outside of Derek Carr playing really badly, it's not like there's any reason to be discouraged. And then last week they played really well but choked. So, and I think they play the Titans this week, coming off a short week. So they should win that game. Nice play by Najee after the catch. We should probably start calling timeouts. Yeah, Joe Douglas was a big part of the Eagles front office when they had their Super Bowl team. And I think he's done a really good job with the Jets. I think most of his moves have been quite good. I didn't really like the move for Elijah Vera Tucker. I thought they gave up too much for him, but he hasn't been bad. And all the picks that the Vikings got in that trade, all those players are like cut for the most part. So, who's really laughing? And then I think this offseason, Joe Douglas hit a grand slam. Free agency, I thought they were good. I think Sauce is going to be the best defensive player in the draft. I think Garrett Wilson's going to be a top 5 receiver one day. Did Dublin just call a timeout? Oh, they're trying to ice the kicker. Okay, that makes sense. So Jack Fox can win it from 36 to pretty much kind of save our season, maybe. Yeah, he got it. Boom! The Vikings pull it off. 27-24. Jack Jackson was pretty good in his first start, and we'll see what he does against this tough San Francisco team. Also in watched, because our games won 2 weeks in a row. Don't shoot the messenger. We're still going to be in last place in the division, but I'm pleased. Lamar was pretty good, but so was Jack. Najee was solid. He outplayed Jonathan Taylor on the ground, but Jonathan Taylor was a beast as a receiver today. So was Najee and Michael Pittman. Our main receivers didn't really do a whole lot, though. Ruggs was quiet. McLaurin's hurt, now that I think about it. Him and Bateman are injured. Although, I think McLaurin's coming back next week. I think. Do you think the Patriots make the playoffs this year? Well, Matt Patricia, as long as he's calling the offensive plays, no. Because that guy's not the brightest. Octy's basing his franchise quarterback off of one game against Dublin. Yeah, but the thing is, I only have really 2 games to base it on before we get to the trade deadline. So I kind of have to make a decision before the next stream, because chances are Lamar and Hector probably won't be available in the open market. And if they are, they're going to probably get a lot of bids. So if I want them, I realistically have to trade for them. So I kind of do have to base it off of 2 games. The Tigers beat the Seahawks. So the Tigers have back-to-back bye weeks, pretty much. Good for them, I guess. Do you know what we'll do for the next OFL? We're going to have a vote probably like towards the end of OFL 22. What are these bad in Sim? Then I guess I'm screwed. Or I have to pay a quarterback, which I don't mind doing, but I don't know if there's going to be any who's available. What I do, I need like an elite quarterback. That's the only way I would do a QB swap. Like Hector or Lamar. Jeff Sims is not what I'm looking for. The Jets beat the Aviators. Huh. Okay. Elijah Chisholm was good. Matt Corral was not. Two sacks for Karlaftis, despite losing. The Bats beat the Rams. Oh, okay. So I guess the Rams don't get revenge from that wild playoff game a couple years ago. Dak was pretty good. DJ Uiagalelei was fine. Kareem Hunt scores 3 touchdowns. So just like the playoff game, Kareem Hunt steamrolls them on the ground. The Bears beat the Huskies. 38-35. Could this be the end of a line for Hector in Toronto? He threw 5 touchdowns, but Carson Strong had a perfect passer rating. The Beats had a much-needed bye week. The Bison win 2 in a row. They've been playing pretty well the past few weeks. They beat the Jags despite a nice fourth-quarter comeback from Jacksonville. I take it that Jeff Sims got injured at some point, and Jalen Hurts finished out the game, and he played really well. So we'll see if Jeff Sims' injury is, legit, but both quarterbacks played well, as did Noah Syverson, so all 3 quarterbacks were good. De'Ami Brown scores twice. The Black Knights. They win a football game for the first time since week 2. They allowed a season-low 24 points. That's 1 point for all the allegations that Deshaun Watson has against himself. That's too easy of a joke to make. Jordan Love was good. Cam Akers was good. Giddy Dunbar, 129. 3 sacks for Aaron Donald. The Broncos had a bye week. The Browns beat the Ravens in overtime, 41-35. Another win for probably the MVP favorite, Russell Wilson, who definitely helped himself out with 5 touchdown passes. Dan was quite good as well, despite losing. This would have been a fun game to watch. Deontay Johnson and Hudson Henry, with each over 100 yards. IT Thomas with a good game in the air. So this is your very typical Browns game where Russell Wilson has to carry. The Bucs, bye week. The Cardinals won! You came at a good time, Denmark. The Cardinals won a game against a really good Panthers team. Okay, 28-17. Trayvon Smith with 4 touchdowns, really outperforming Bryce Young. Can't say I saw that one coming. Javon Baker was a beast. Are the Cardinals going to flip the script? Chiefs beat the Diablos 31-28. Josh Allen was good. Dalvin Cook was also good. The Dolphins. Oh, they lost to the Commies Commanders football team. I'm surprised by this. I thought the Dolphins were going to win this game. Justin Herbert outplayed Aaron Rodgers, so I guess both players proved me wrong. The Dolphins should still win the East because the East stinks, but this is a nice statement win for Washington. The Falcons lose to the Niners 27-24. Brady Boatwell was good, the former Niner, one of about 20 current starting quarterbacks in the league who have been on San Francisco's roster at one point. Trey Lance was pretty good as well. Nick Chubb was quiet. Hopefully Nick Chubb is quiet again this week. Tyron Smith allowed 4 sacks. 3.5 to Brian Burns. And this week he has to line up against either Myles Garrett or Khalil Mack. Football team won. Niners won. They won 42-0 last week? Oh, they played the Saints. I forgot about that. The Giants shut out. Wow, 21-0. Salt Lake City's playing really well. The Pioneers are probably going to be back in the playoffs, which makes sense. They're good. The Giants have not been all that good this year. They're 4-4. I expected a little bit more out of the defending champs. Huskies lost. Jags lost. Jets won. Lions lost. Panthers lost somehow. New England 28-0. So the Saints get shut out, and then they shut somebody out, and they score all 28 points in the first half. Yeah, New England, they're not good. Demaryius Johnson's not very good. And your defense isn't very good if you're allowing C.J. Stroud, who hasn't been all that good over the past 2.5 seasons, to throw for 4 touchdowns. Can we take a moment to make fun of the Browns defense for still sucking eggs? Well, they can suck all the eggs they want. If Russell Wilson's going to play like this, then it almost doesn't even matter. Is that everybody? Did we see Seattle's loss? Yeah, we did. Wow, the Shamrocks have lost 5 in a row. That's impressive. Players of the week. Hector Estrada, the possible future Viking. Russell Wilson, Spiller, I don't know who that is. And George Karlaftis. What about the Wizards? I think the Wizards had a bye week. Yeah, I think they were off. Until Seattle randomly wins a game. I mean, Seattle did beat Arizona. They shouldn't have, but they did. So the Browns strengthened their... Or I guess the Browns are back on top in the North with them winning and everybody else losing. The Wizards are still in first place in the South. The Tigers are quietly 7-2. I didn't realize they were that good. The Dolphins still lead the East despite losing. The Pioneers and the Chiefs are quietly 6-2, although their point differential is only 13. The NFC North should be very competitive. The Bears have the lead here. I think the other 3 teams are all kind of still in it. Maybe not as much Minnesota, but we do have the best point differential in the division. That has to go for something. The Panthers still lead the South despite getting embarrassed by the Cardinals. Washington still leads the East. They strengthen their lead in the East. And the Niners take over first place in the West with the Rams close behind and the Seahawks and Cardinals tanking for the #1 pick. All right, so that'll bring us to Week 10, and the Vikings game won the poll again. So we get to see more Jack Jackson. He's going up against the Niners. I'm kind of excited to see San Francisco. We haven't watched them yet this year. So I think this should be an interesting game. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2. 2. So I guess we're going to use Rose today. I think this game's also in Minnesota. Oh, yeah, you guys played Carolina. You're right. Although that was a pretty close game against, at the time, good Panthers team, who may not be as good now because they lost to Arizona, who lost to Seattle, who is historically horrible. All right, we wore the throwbacks last game, so we'll change it up. Maybe we want to do white. Although purple's purple. But Nickinator can pick his jerseys as well. The Toilet Bowl Ravens. Well, the Ravens and the Vikings are good. Like, good on paper. I don't know about good record-wise. But on paper, those might be the 2 best rosters in the league. I mean, I was looking through your corners when you made your deals today. You guys have like 7 legitimately starting cornerbacks. I love how the Ravens and the Jets are like hogging all the corners. No wonder teams like the Black Knights can't cover anybody. Retros. Which retros in specific? Like these? Or these? These are clean. The Niners have a lot of good retros. And of course, all black. Like the all-white retros? In that case, I guess we'll go Color Rush. White against purple. All our corners got hurt. So I guess instead of having good corners in the NFL, you can just trade for a bazillion in the OFL. There you go. All right, Week 10. We got another week of the Jack Jackson experience as he goes up against the San Francisco 49ers, who've been playing some good football this year. They're on their 12th starting quarterback this season with Trey Lance, who's been pretty solid throughout the year. Niners currently first place in an interesting NFC West division who has some good teams, and they have some really bad teams. Like, really bad. I went into today's stream expecting to go 1-1. So, why are they wearing red? Let me fix that. We only missed 1 play. So, it doesn't really matter. Your worst corner is a 75. Yeah, you got a bunch of young guys, and again, it's like 7 deep. EA is in fact blind. We want the... Which one is it? It's this one. No. Wait, yes it is. Hold on. Why is it changing? That's what we want. Okay, there we go. That was too much of a process. Alright, now we're good. Now we can play some football. Why are they still wearing red? EA, am I not picking the white jerseys? This is incredible. Does EA not know which jerseys I'm picking? I don't think I've had to do it 3 times. Okay, which ones are white? There. My lord. Are they wearing the correct jerseys this time? I can't really tell. Yes. Okay, good. Nothing like OFL and math homework. What a perfect combo. Those two things go together like peanut butter and jelly. The Niners get an extra 10 yards off of the uniform change, so thanks, EA. Dang, no. I was hoping to see the Rams game, but apparently people want to see Jack Jackson, which I guess is fine. OFL clears math homework. That's facts. DJ was not mid in this game. He threw 3 touchdowns. He also had the 2 picks, but it didn't seem like he was the reason why they lost this game. Ooh, I think we stopped him. Good work by 55 Logan Wilson and 29 Jair Alexander. Watch the Cardinals randomly win out. If they make the playoffs, I will root for them over my own team. With all the heartbreak the Cardinals have had in every OFL, it would be perfect for them to start the year 0-8 with a questionable roster to actually, win the OFL Bowl. Can you stop Bradley Chubb and Shaq Barrett? Considering we could not stop Carl Lawson last game, I'm going to take a gander and say no. Which one of my teams could win on your birthday weekend? Well, happy belated birthday, first off. But, yeah, I guess it was a pretty rough weekend for your teams. And now it might not get any easier playing against the Wizards, who are, quite good. Nice play for Michael Pittman, who was very good in the first game. Uh-oh, fumble! And it's picked up by Shaq Barrett. So we'll have to get a closer look. They're going to review it, yeah. Don't care. Trace McSorley owns the Wizards. Throw it on a dime. Yeah, I think he's down. Although it's kind of hard to tell on that angle, but usually when they review a fumble, it's overturned. So I assume they're going to overturn it. Yeah, okay, cool. I figured. Whenever they review a fumble, 95% of the time it gets overturned. It's kind of scripted. What about Greg Dortch? I was not expecting Greg Dortch to actually be, like, good. Like, when Hector first mentioned him, I just assumed he was, like, some random, like, end-of-a-roster scrub, and he was, but apparently he's kind of good. Which is ironic, but, I mean, good for him, I guess. Block kicks in Madden are quite scripted. You are right. There's Bradley Chubb, Diablo legend, in the backfield. So it looks like I was right on if we're going to stop Chubb and Barrett. Shaq Barrett, also a former Mexico City Diablo. And Myles Garrett's on that team too. All of my OFL 21 pass rushers are coming back together. The gang is reunited. So the offense stalls out. The Niners get the ball back. We've had a lot of offense-heavy games today. I wouldn't mind seeing a low-scoring game, although who also doesn't like offense and action? So can't really go wrong either way. Nick Chubb had a pretty quiet week last week, although throughout the season he has been Nick Chubb-esque, which is obviously quite good. Third and 3. They look like they're going to run it. Which I guess with Nick Chubb, I don't really blame him. Or not. We just don't like covering running backs. Do our linebackers know they're allowed to cover a running back coming out of the backfield? Jets are about to be 3-0 against the AFC North. Why don't we just put the Jets in there entirely so they can go 6-11 and they can get their 6 wins against 3 AFC North opponents? Thankful Russell Wilson is your quarterback. I don't blame you. Russell Wilson is continuing to look like the MVP. At this point, I don't know how you can make an argument against him. I mean, there are other guys who have been good, but Russ is the top guy. It's quite the 180 from last year in OFL 21 where he was terrible and nobody wanted him, and he was in the 90s ratings-wise and a backup for the last few seasons. Nice hit. I don't think he got it. Nope. Justin Flose, go Ducks. Why are they kicking? You have a better chance of getting a 1-yard gain with Nick Chubb than a 60-yard field goal. Common EAL. That kick wasn't even really close. I mean, I guess it wasn't, like, extremely far off, but, I mean, still. If you want to kick the ball so bad, you have a punter who could do it. Okay, not a bad first quarter. The defense looks good. The Niners coaching staff apparently does not know how to coach. Maybe Way. Marquise Way was good in 20, but I would say this year of Russell Wilson is better than any year with Marquise Way. Nathaniel Hackett type beat. Yeah. Yeah, I was mentioning it yesterday in the server, but I would be panicking if I am the Broncos. I know it's early, and it's easy to overreact, but they played maybe the 2 worst teams in the league, and honestly should not have won either game, which is pretty embarrassing. And Russ was terrible yesterday. I don't know what the deal with him is. A Nice throw by Jackson in the end zone for a touchdown. Henry Ruggs with the play. I don't know if you guys saw the video yesterday, but there was a video that surfaced of Henry Ruggs like working out, like running routes and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know if he's doing it to like pass the time or if he thinks he's getting an NFL job again. But yeah, that was a thing. Let Russ cook. I think I should be the coach of the Broncos. Don't bring your defensive coaching staff with you, though. Nick lets Russ cook. Hackett does not. Hackett just might be an Aaron Rodgers merchant, because before Green Bay, as far as I know, he wasn't like that good of a coordinator. So he might just be an Aaron Rodgers merchant. Andrew Barry's on the phone with Henry Ruggs right now. Hackett was with the Jags offensive coordinator in 2-17. You mean 2-15? Or 2-14? Hackett is... It's 2 weeks. I'm not ready to overreact on that. But obviously he has not looked good, and the rest of the team has not been, you know, good. At least on offense. 2017. That was the year they were good, though. But I think he got fired from that job. So after 2017, it went south when Blake Bortles forgot how to play football, and Leonard Fournette went downhill after his rookie year. What about the Lions since they won yesterday? That first half was probably the best half I've like ever seen of the Lions. It was pretty unbelievable. The second half, we made it a little bit too close, but it seems like the team is going to be better than last year, which is to be expected. Trey Lance under pressure. He's sacked in the backfield. Is that Jalen Carter? It is Jalen Carter, future top like 5 or 10 pick. The Denver coaching staff, defensive coaching staff, looks mid. I mean, their defense has been pretty good, though, albeit they've played against Geno Smith, if I ain't right, back or whatever, and Davis Mills. So I guess you can't really make any conclusions about them until they play a real offense. Who do they play this week? Hopefully a real offense. On one hand, Trey is 9 for 9. On the other hand, the offense has a big goose egg. Denver plays the Niners on Sunday Night Football next week. Does that count as a real offense? I guess. I guess it's kind of. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, the weapons, if Kittle's healthy. But they also have Jimmy Garoppolo. So, I mean, I guess they're better on offense than Seattle and Houston. Put it that way. Glad I am optimistic after yesterday because I cannot say the same. I mean, you guys played well for 58 minutes, so I guess you had that going for you. But I guess there's only so much you can do when Jacoby Brissett is under center. Wait till the Broncos play Lamar Jackson. We'll be up in the fourth, and the defense will give up 28 points. I don't think Denver's offense has shown they can score 28 points in a game, let alone then in a quarter. I mean, as long as they choose not to use Javonte Williams, thanks, Hackett. My keeper team really appreciates it. My 2 top picks for the keeper league are not being used like nearly as much as they should at all. Javonte Williams is being wasted in Denver. Kyle Pitts is being wasted in Atlanta. Travis Etienne is kind of being wasted, although, I mean, I get it a little bit because James Robinson's good. Did Jimmy smirk when Trey got injured? I mean, I imagine Jimmy wasn't, like, happy about the circumstance, but on the other hand, I mean, I would understand if Jimmy was selfishly a little bit excited about the opportunity. Obviously, you don't wish a broken ankle on your teammate, and you probably shouldn't visibly look excited, but on the other hand, I could see why he'd be a little bit, not as upset. There's not been a single incompletion the entire game, and there's 2 minutes left in the half. Yesterday wasn't on Brissett, but still, the ceiling is only so high as long as he's in there. Although he hasn't been miserable so far. Hey, there's an incompletion, right when I said there haven't been any. Just like Arthur Smith, Hackett does not give an F about your fantasy football team. I mean, you're right, and they shouldn't care about my fantasy football teams. But on the other hand, if you want to win games, you should probably give the ball to your best offensive player, no? Yes, I am starting Jack Jackson, and he's been quite good so far. I don't know how long he's going to start, if I do make a trade at the quarterback position. Which I guess I've got 2 days to figure that out, assuming I do stream on Wednesday, which I think I will. Another incompletion. Why are we kicking? Why not just punt the ball? There's no reason to get cute. I know it's Jack Fox, and Jack Fox is him. Doink! That was close. I think that went off like the bottom of the crossbar. Oh, no, it went off. Yeah, it went off like the padding part. Oh, I guess that's kind of a doink. So both teams kick when they shouldn't have. I think San Francisco's situation was worse because it was a 4th and 1. The Vikings hand the ball off to Madison all night. Well, if Dalvin Cook gets hurt within the next, 2 hours, then Alexander Madison's probably going to run for 150 because Alexander Madison is actually quite good. Who we got for both games today? Well, obviously I'm picking the Bills. I'm surprised the Bills are favored by 10, though. That seems like a lot. I get the Titans are shaky, but they were still the number 1 seed last year. 10 feels like a lot. And then the other game, I had the Vikings. And I'm hoping the Vikings win because I would rather them come in a little bit flat next week because we play the Vikings. So I think it would benefit us if Minnesota wins. So, skull. King Henry does own the Bills, but I don't know if I can say the same that Ryan Tannehill owns the Bills. And their wide receiver 1, Kyle Phillips, is questionable. So they might actually have to depend on Bobby Trees and Traylon Burks. Who does Minnie play? Minnie plays the Eagles. First and goal, no timeouts, doesn't matter. The Niners are going to score and tie the game up. Is that Khalil Lawrence? I think it is. So the Niners tie the game up before halftime. I think don't we start the ball again? Yeah. So that's good. Oh, that's Art Gilbert. Okay. I thought Khalil Lawrence wore a number in the 80s. Maybe it's like 82 or something. This feels like a game where Kirk Cousins throws 350 yards and 3 touchdowns and still loses. If it wasn't on Monday night, I would agree with you, but Kirk Cousins has historically sucked on Monday night, which I need him to not suck for A, I want us to have the best chance to win next week, and B, for the Keeper League, I'm in a pretty close match with Apple, and I'm starting Kirk. Yeah, I need Kirk Cousins and Devontae Smith to outscore Dallas Goedert by 20. Which is certainly possible. Not if Devontae Smith plays like he did last week, but otherwise, yeah. Who's that one Georgia tight end you were talking about? That's Art Gilbert. That was the guy I was probably talking about. The guy who wasn't, at the game on Saturday because who knows why. But yeah, that was Eric Gilbert. That was the same guy who scored just now for San Francisco. You guys can't be the worst team in the league when Seattle literally exists. And Arizona, but even though Seattle won that game, Arizona's better than them. What happened to Malik Willis? So what I've done with quarterback is I have a couple of trades lined up for like really good QBs, but I wanted to start Jack Jackson today to see what he would do. Which he's been quite good, but I haven't seen him in a sim game, so this isn't a perfect representation of how good he can be. Columbus did lose. Everybody in the AFC North lost last week except for you guys. And Columbus played the Jets. Ugh. I think they played the Ravens this week, which is certainly tougher. If I trade for a quarterback, what happens to Jack? Well, Jack would become the backup the rest of the year. Assuming I pay the quarterback I trade for, holy hell, what a throw. What a dot for Henry Ruggs. As I was trying to say, Jack would become the backup, and assuming I do pay said quarterback, which is likely, then I guess Jack gets traded or he remains the backup. But if we do trade for, let's say, Lamar doesn't play all that well, and I don't want to pay him $250 million, then in that case, I guess Jack would be the starter next year. Or I could pay Malik Willis, but that doesn't seem likely. Although Willis was surprisingly going for cheaper when I checked the re-signings. He wasn't as expensive as I thought he would be, but like, there's not a point to pay Malik Willis like $20 million a season when we have Jack Jackson. Nice touchdown by Najee to put us ahead. Who's Jack Jackson anyway? Jack Jackson was one of our rookies who is playing quarterback for us the past 2 games. When is resign? I will have the resign. I'm going to do that like today. I'm going to make a point to do it today before the trade deadline so everyone can see who they need to pay. Jack Jackson, you are a San Francisco 49er. You're probably right now that you say that. Which, I mean, speaking of, Malik Willis is very much available. So, if you want a good third-string QB, and if I don't trade him, he's in one of the 2 trades that I'm considering. Everyone's re-sign stage is going to be hell. Everybody has a bazillion guys to pay. Malik Willis, if you want him, he's available. I would need something half decent for him because, I mean, I'm not going to give up a starting caliber quarterback away for peanuts. Your first overall pick is available. Do you by chance want a talented quarterback out of the University of Liberty who is not mediocre and doesn't throw pick sixes in the playoffs? I have your guy then. Speaking of Liberty, I don't know if you guys saw this, but UMass is having like their Pride Day when they play Liberty this year, which is like so ironic because Liberty is like a very conservative school. There's no way UMass would have done that on accident. So the timing is just perfect. So how will people sign the guys they're losing when they can't even... Well, if they have enough money, they can re-sign them. If not, then, well, sucks to suck, I guess. But everybody should have enough money for at least their top few guys. Probably. Remember when Malik was almost a Raven? Yeah, I kind of dodged a bullet there. Because Mr. Justin Fields is not the best, clearly. Nick Chubb has 8 catches today. Will we ever cover running backs? Maybe? No? No? Okay. There's number 9, although we covered him that time. Trey Lance is 19 of 19. Yet I still feel kind of underwhelmed by him. I mean, he hasn't missed a throw, literally. And just like Jonathan Taylor, Malik Willis has not ran the ball well at all. So the run defense is really good, which is nice. Trey Lance now 20 for 20. That's a first down. Guess who it is again? I think that's catch number 10 for Chubb. Remember when the Rams were really bad at the beginning, then they were good, then they were bad, and now they're good again. Get off my break in 10 minutes. If we do the results before them, can we do your game first? I mean, unless this game turns into a sim, I wouldn't count on that happening, but if it does, yeah, we'll do your game first. Nick Chubb MVP with his 3.3 yards per carry, putting up IT numbers. The Rams and the Raiders, yeah, they're like identical, but in like opposite ways. I think that's Eric Gilbert again, diving into the end zone for his second touchdown of the game. Trey Lance is now 21 for 21. Welcome in, Real. How you doing? Your team is not looking too bad. They just tied it up, assuming they make the kick. With 30 seconds left in the third. If we win this game and go up to 4-6, then I think we have legit playoff hopes again. So, I feel like our season's kind of on the line. Eric Gilbert actually decided to show up, unlike in real life. Nine plus 10 equals 21. Quick math. Are we watching any more games after this? This is the last watch game today. We still have all the Week 10 box scores and whatnot. But this is the last watch game for today. Wednesday should be 4 weeks. Wednesday probably will be 4 weeks. Once we get through the trade deadline, I like to go faster. So I think we're probably only going to have 3 more regular season streams. We might do 11 through 14, then weeks 15 through 17, and then, of course, week 18 gets his own stream, like always. So, no guarantees, but that's what I'm planning. How's Khalil Lawrence been over the past couple of weeks? He's been fine. I mean, he hasn't put up any super big numbers, but the Niners do have a lot of mouths to feed on the offense. But yeah, we'll take a look at some stats towards the end of the stream. And we'll set the video. The Pioneers, I think, are like 6-2. They're good. Did the Browns play the Pioneers this week? How did that game not win over this? Yeah, they do. How did this game win over the Rams, Wizards, and Browns, Pioneers? I mean, shoot, I'm cool to see my team playing well, but I'm surprised people wanted to see the Vikings twice over one of those games. If we do trade for a QB, particularly Hector, I feel like I have to put those on the poll for Week 11. But that'll be 5 watch games in the first 11 weeks of the year. That's like kind of a lot. So I guess unless we have like a really good game, we probably won't watch too much of the Vikings because we've already watched them a lot. Although I think my team is better in watched than sim, but I also want to keep it fair, obviously. Hope we lose or win, but not tie. As long as you have fun and not tie. Holding on Rashad Bateman, he is back, I guess, from injury, so that's cool. He hasn't really done anything today, except for a holding call. Share the watch game. I mean, I let the people vote. I wanted to watch the Wizards today. Can the Niners break the curse? I totally forgot about the curse. That the Niners still have not won a watch game, ever. And, I mean, it's possible. They're not losing. We're good against any team that... Have you guys lost to the Aviators twice this year? So that means the Aviators have the head-to-head tiebreaker. That could be kind of a big deal. What's worse, the Ravens choking to the Dolphins or the Bengals losing to Cooper Rush? I think the Ravens loss is more embarrassing, but I'm a lot more concerned about the Bengals than the Ravens because the Ravens look really good for 3 quarters. Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, has been the MVP through 2 weeks, probably. Whereas the Bengals have not been good at all this year. Zach Taylor's proven he's mid. Joe Burrow has been not very good. Oh, the Bears. Oh, okay. So you guys still play the Aviators again. Panthers losing to us. Good answer. Yeah, the Panthers losing to the Cardinals might be more embarrassing than both of those. And letting Trayvon Smith have 4 touchdowns and only 1 more incompletion. That could have been a flag. Although that ball wasn't really catchable. By the way, first Trey Lance incompletion of the entire game. But there was some contact from the corner. There's a flag. Was there a late hit? Hold. Okay, good. Good stuff. Thank you, refs. The new Niner, Clay Webb, acquired a couple of days ago from the Huskies. Niners get the first down after all, so the penalty proves to not be that big of a deal. Me to EA. This is who you had making the Super Bowl in the preseason sims, and they lose to the 0-8 Cardinals. Any given Sunday. Are we going to do... When does Dan play against Hector? Do you guys play each other this year? I guess, because we play the AFC North, so... Or we played the Shamrocks. Do we play the rest of the division? Yeah, because we played Cleveland, so we do play the AFC North. So that means Dan does play Hector. Who do I have winning, the Eagles or the Vikings? I trust the Vikings a little bit more. Even though Kirk Cousins sucks on Monday Night Football, I just have a feeling the Vikings win, and as I said earlier, I hope I'm right. So the Vikings come into Week 3 flat. They're probably not going to be as flat if they lose. Although the Vikings still have a short week regardless, which is obviously good for us. Trey tied the NFL record for consecutive completions in a game. Holy hell. Why didn't he dump it off then on that incomplete place, just so he could have broken the record? Hurts has never won a Monday Night Football. Yeah, but Hurts, how many times has he played on Monday Night Football? Like, Kirk Cousins is historically known for sucking on Monday Night Football. For all we know, Hurts could be Patrick Mahomes on Monday night. Or maybe he's the next Kirk Cousins. We don't really know. But sometimes you'd rather not know than know when it's really bad. Hurts is 0-2. Well, I guess that's not great, but that's also a far smaller sample size. And the Eagles are better this year than they've been, and Hurts should be better this year. Kirk is like 2-9, I think. I think that was the number. I think he's been a little bit better recently, and again, I hope he wins. Speaking of winning, the Niners have taken the lead. It would be very fitting for us to lose to the cursed watch team. Jack had a nice 2-minute drill drive to win us the game last week against the Shamrocks. Can he do it again? Lamar plays Jameis on Monday Night Football. If Jameis even plays, his back is so messed up. Wasn't one of those where Hurts got benched? Was Hurts on that team? Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's when Hurts got benched for current Lions backup, Sudfeld the Studfeld. Sud the Stud. But that game was like so weird, so I don't even know. Wasn't that Sunday night? Because that was the last game of the year. Why did they put the 4-win Eagles on the last game of the year? Lord knows. But I think that was Monday night. Or Sunday night, I mean. Because that was the final week of the season. Because Washington had to win that game to win their division. That's when the NFC East was at its like peak of being horrible. And Washington needed to win to clinch the division, which they did. That was the first year that they were in they were the football team. And I guess it kind of gave the Eagles Devontae Smith, although the Eagles traded their pick twice. So, I mean, did it really get them Devontae Smith? I guess. Have they had Monday Night Football in the last week before? They haven't done it recently. I'm pretty sure that game was Sunday night. Because you can't have a team play Monday night and then have them go into the playoffs with like a short week. That's like not really fair. Got to hand off to work again, just like Jack Jackson hands off the ball. That should be a DPI. First off, what a catch by Terry McLaurin. Second of all, DPI. Good. It helped the Dolphins get Jalen Waddle. It helped the Eagles get Devontae Smith. It helped the Cowboys get Micah Parsons. And it helped us get Penei Sewell. So everybody's a winner. Joe Judge was pissed at the Eagles. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, that was the difference of the Giants making or not making the playoffs. What is the most basic name for a sports franchise? I don't know, like Joe Smith? That's pretty boring. Minute to go, Jack. Finish it off. There's a touchdown for the lead by Rashad Bateman. So Trey Lance has 58 seconds and all 3 timeouts, and all they need is a field goal. These Huskies players selling. That's what they do. That's what those Huskies do. Giants got mad. They didn't deserve to be a playoff team, but neither did Washington. So Lions are generic. Oh, you meant like team name. Oh, I thought you meant like player name. Well, obviously the Tigers is the most like generic name. Not that it's a bad name. Go Tigers, but like, I mean, how many colleges are named the Tigers? Like a bazillion? There's a team in the MLB named after Tigers. There's a team in the NFL named after Tigers. The Browns is literally, I guess, basic in terms of like the name itself. Yeah, the Browns is probably the answer. The Browns call their stadium the Dog Pound. Their alternate logo is an elf. Oh my lord, is that Eric Gilbert to the 30? Oh dear, this is literally anyone's game. Is this Niners watch game streak about to be broken? Defense, please, just play prevent. Have a bunch of guys in the end zone and cover Nick Chubb. Okay, that's fine. Eric Gilbert, future Lion. I mean, on one hand, sure, if Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes trust the character, then sure. So the Niners are going right for the kick. With 11 seconds, I would probably take a shot for the end zone. But, I mean, I guess this isn't a horrible call. 39 yards out. The game is tied. We're probably going overtime. Tyler Bass. I know we're not going to throw a Hail Mary, but that's 100% what we should do. Like, what do we have to lose? When has a Hail Mary ever not, like, when has a Hail Mary resulted in points for the team not throwing it? Knowing Madden, we check it down and run off the clock. You know what? That's fair. I can't really argue with that. Madden would find a way to do that. All right, we're going overtime. 24-24. Pick heads, Niners. Pick heads. Yeah! It worked! Tails never fails, baby. The Vikings start off with the ball. Tails has not worked recently, so I'm happy that the Tails never fails agenda is back up and moving. The Niners deserve to lose just for picking heads. They should know better. Can Jack Jackson finish off the game? If he went for a Hail Mary, Byard would have returned it. I mean, that's a pretty long return with a bunch of linemen and the quarterback back there. Someone would have had to get him. Jack Jackson throws a pick six on the very first play. Well, he didn't. I guess he could on the second play. Which he won't. We also don't really gain any yardage because, well, we ran a screen. So obviously we're not. Can't throw a pick six when you're on the ball, although we're probably not going to run it here on third down. Oh, it's only 3rd and 3, but we have an empty backfield, so we're obviously not running it. Just go short. Don't do something stupid. Okay, good. I mean, that was kind of the risky throw, but it does the job. Henry Ruggs has had an unreal game. He has 10 catches? Holy smokes. I thought he had like 5, and I still thought he was doing unreal. I didn't realize he had 10. Don't get sacked. Please. Why? You should have known that was coming. The big man, Jordan Davis. Wow, he is large. He is one large person. Henry Ruggs with the ankle monitor on still has his 10 catches. Jack Jackson chucks it up for the end zone. Incomplete. This is turning into a We're not even losing. We're playing against a team who, again, has a better record. What if we tie? Oh, what a throw! Is that Ruggs again? Henry Ruggs is an animal right now. That's like his 11th catch. My lord, 11 for 218! Player of the week much? Oh, I thought that said fumble for a second. I was terrified. So it's a flag, but I saw the red thing on the bottom, and usually that means fumble if it's during a play. Jeez, my heart dropped for a second. Still not a good play for us. It's a holding, but I guess that's better than a fumble. Nice throw, doofus. At this point, a field goal really wouldn't be that bad because the Niners are not going to have a lot of time with the ball. So, if we take a lot of time off the clock and kick 3, I really wouldn't be too upset. Although, I don't think Henry Ruggs wants 3. Henry Ruggs is him. Wonder what the police is thinking of Henry Ruggs' movement. Well, the police should just have a bunch of guys here because we're like a team of criminals. Jackson for the end zone. Nope. All right. So the Niners are going to have 2 minutes. That's enough time to do something. I know I said that this was a successful drive, which I think it is, but I just have a bad feeling about this. I mean, Trey Lance has missed 1 throw of the entire game. And I don't know how I would feel about a tie. I don't think we've had a tie once in OFL 22. Watched or said, I don't think we've had a single tie. I remember the days where in the OFL it felt like there was a tie like every week. And then Madden patched it to where there's ties less often in Sim. But now ties don't happen at all, which is stupid. You forget I'm 0-10 in watch games. I know, but I just have an odd feeling you guys are going to score a touchdown. First play pick. Watch. I wish. Although Trey Lance has thrown 1 incompletion today, so I'm not counting on it. 2-minute warning. Can the defense clutch up? Okay. Okay. Don't know why they're running screens. Why would they call a timeout? That's too early. Time is not an issue yet. Maybe in 30 seconds it is, but even minute 41. There's no reason to panic. And they run another screen, and it works! That's too ironic. They call a timeout prematurely to run the same play, which never works, but it worked. He has 13 catches for 110 yards. Why do we not cover running backs? I don't get it. Uncommon screen W after common screen L. Ooh, that was almost intercepted. That was close. 0-9 and watched. Well, hopefully he'll be 0-10 in a minute 29. There's catch number 14 for Chubb. They got to move. Now they got to start worrying about the clock. And of course, they go back to the line of scrimmage in like the normal amount of time. Another good throw. I wonder how Madden's going to play the tie. Like, if there's like 15 seconds left, they don't have any timeouts, and if they have it at like the 25, do you play for the tie or do you play for the win? Ooh, that's a bad call. They lost 6. They should call that timeout probably now. Or waste 10 seconds and then do it. So, what do you go for the Hail Mary, or do you go for, like, a 10-yard out route? They're kicking! What? A 60-yard field goal. What are they doing? Well, GG, I guess. They missed a 60-yard field goal earlier by a lot. There's no way he makes this kick. No shot. Okay, good. If it makes you feel any better, if they chose to run another play and it wasn't a Hail Mary, it probably would have been a check down. But still, that's a terrible call. That's horrible. I feel unsatisfied about our win now. Jack Jackson played really well, though, so can't be too upset there. So Jack Jackson has the same amount of wins as Malik Willis, and he played really well in both games. So now I really don't know what I'm going to do at quarterback, because I feel quite pleased with how Jack played. Trey Lance was very good as well, 2 incompletions and 3 touchdowns. Nick Chubb was very good, as was Henry Ruggs. Colt Riggs also had 10 catches. Eric Gilbert had 2 touchdowns. Well, that was something. I did not expect to win 2 straight watch games today, but here we are. Yeah, remember when Hector was gassing up the idea of the 2 of us playing our backup quarterbacks against each other? Well, clearly Jack Jackson is not some ordinary backup. We won both games by the same score at 27-24. How ironic. All right, it's sim time. The Wizards. Oh! Look at that! The Rams beat Orlando. Are the Wizards and Panthers both kind of fraudulent? The Wizards and Panthers have not won a single game since they played against each other. I still think the Wizards are the best team in the league, but maybe we crowned them a little bit too soon. Mikian Muscobili, the rookie out of Friends University with 4 sacks. I take it that he's unlocked his X Factor now? I'm pretty sure he's an X Factor. The Aviators, wow, the Aviators went 0-2. Losing to the Ravens, 31-28. Matt Corral was a lot better. He actually outperformed Dan. But the Ravens get the job done. I still think this Aviators team was quite good, but obviously not a great day for them today. The Bats. Oh, wow. They beat the football team. A lot of odd results so far. So, Boston goes 2-0. Maybe they're a sneaky wild card contender. I still think Washington's the best team in their division by quite a bit. The Bears had a bye week. Okay, what is happening? The Beats just beat the Chiefs by 42. The Chiefs were 6-2. And the Chiefs, don't they have like a really low-scoring defense? 13, 14, 31, 24, 28, 28. Okay, so their defense was really good. Now, not so much, clearly, considering they allowed 49 to a team who has 3 wins. But that's a big win for Brooklyn. Maybe they can get back in the fold a little bit. Joe Burrow was obviously very good. Josh Allen, not so much. Bijan Robinson was a machine. Quite the win for Brooklyn. Quite the win. This has been a weird week. Let's make it even weirder. Nope, okay. Seattle still lost. It's not that weird. But Bison have won like 4 or 5, I think. Yeah, OKC's playing good football. That would have been funny if Seattle won, but... Good win for the Bison. They could be a sneaky playoff wildcard team as well. Patrick played really well finally. That's cool to see. Zaven Collins, 2 sacks. The Black Knights lose to the Huskies, 24-17. And what could be Hector's final game in Toronto, we'll see. He was solid enough. Jordan Love was not great. Is 4-6 wildcard territory? I mean, it's possible. It's not necessarily likely. You got to play really well the rest of the way, but it's possible. And we're obviously in that same boat at 4-6. The Bison as well. The Broncos lose to the Giants. New York gets back on track in overtime. Mac Jones plays a lot better. David Montgomery, 3 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb told Denver's defense to see these nuts. 2.5 sacks for Howard Landry. The Browns with another one, 27-17. Yeah, this guy's the MVP. I don't think we can argue it anymore, right? I mean, the Pioneers just allowed 0 points to the defending champs, and Russ scores 3 touchdowns. There's no one else in the MVP race. The Pioneers' win streak comes to an end, although I.T. Thomas still only had 3.3 yards per carry. So I think we can definitely put Cleveland in that tier with Orlando at the top. Maybe even ahead of Orlando. The Bucs have won 4 in a row. Although they beat the Cardinals, so I guess it's not that impressive. So Arizona gets back to losing. Derek Carr, 4 touchdowns. Devontae Adams played like Devontae Adams. So did Christian Kirk. Who is J.J. Franks? 2 sacks. Good for him, I guess. The Cardinals lost. The Chiefs got smothered. The Diablos beat the Lions. 31-24. So the Lions go 0-2 today. That is good news for us. The more NFC North losses, the better. Wow, have yourself a day, Cam. 3.5 sacks for Montez Sweat. The Dolphins had a bye week. The Falcons beat the Saints 31-14. Nice rebound here for Orlando. Both quarterbacks were solid. Nice amount of yards for Will Disley. Football team lost. Niners lost. Giants won. Huskies won. Jags had a bye. The Shamrocks get back on track. They beat the Jets 35-3. Remember when the Shamrocks beat the Jets last year and we acted like that was like super odd? Now it's the other way around. Lamar Jackson, 3 touchdowns in what could be his final game as a Shamrock. We'll see. Chisholm was pretty bad. So Dublin wins their first game since week 4 and get back to 500. The Jets are still not very good. The Lions lost. Panthers, they get back on the win column. They only beat New England by 7, but a win's a win, I guess. Bryce Young was pretty mediocre. Demaryius Johnson was bad again. He's just not good. New England got a lot of picks for Trevor Lawrence, but that trade is starting to look like a mistake, especially with the Tigers being really good. New England obviously lost. Pioneers lost. Their first loss since week 3. The Rams won. The Ravens won. The Saints lost. Seattle lost. Shamrocks won. Tigers had a bye week, and that brings us back to Minnesota. Remember when the Lions were good? Fun times. Now they're under 500. Now they're like at our level. Malik Willis is still in the top 20 in passing yards. Okay. Players of the week. Henry Ruggs got snubbed. Russell Wilson. Did he win it last week? Yeah. How many does he have this year? 3. Just 3. So, Mac Jones, Russell Wilson, Kenneth Murray, and Montez Sweat. Standings. Nobody has one loss. The Panthers, Browns, Wizards, and Tigers all have 2, with the Cardinals, Seahawks, and Patriots at the bottom. So, Cleveland still leads the North, and their lead goes up to 2 games, with the Aviators losing. The Wizards and Tigers are now tied for first in the South, and the Bisons are starting to creep up. They're playing good football, 3 in a row. The Dolphins' lead is cut down to 3, with the Beats demolishing Kansas City. Still no reason to worry yet if you're the Dolphins. The Pioneers and Chiefs both lose, so the Diablos make up some nice ground. The Bears still lead the North, Huskies a game back, Lions and Vikings still very much in the race. Everybody in the South won except for New Orleans. Looks like a 3-way race here for Panthers, Bucks, and Falcons. Washington only 1 game ahead of the Giants in the East, and the Rams are back ahead of the Niners in the West. Injuries. Was Chidobe always hurt? I think he was. Yeah, okay. So he'll be back soon. Good. Anything else new? Jedrick Wills feels new. Not a whole lot of new injuries. I guess that's good. Was Fred Warner hurt already? Well, if not, he is. Taylor Rapp and Fee Riley hurt for the Jets. Really not many injuries this week. Or not many new injuries. How long does J-Mo have? 2 more weeks. So he'll be back soon for the Tigers. That's a big get. Alright, so I'm not sure if we're going to be doing 4 weeks next stream, but if we are, we'll go through 4 sets of weeks of the schedule. This looks like a good game. This could be a good game. That could be a good game. So could this. Wizards-Chiefs, revenge game from the playoffs last year. That's a good game. Vikings-Huskies, of course. And then we get the Tank Bowl again. This is a fun week. A lot of good games here. Week 12. When is Thanksgiving? Is that week 12? Yeah. The Lions play the Bears. The Bats host Thanksgiving now. They play the Black Knights. And the Jets play... Who wants to watch the Jets and the Patriots for a primetime Thanksgiving game? This is a very weak slate. I think all of these teams are under 500 other than the Bears. Yuck. Safe to say we won't be watching any Thanksgiving football. Week 13. Do we have a bye week, week 13? That's so late. I mean, I guess that's good. Aviators play the Browns again in week 14. We play the Bears. That's an important game. All right, we'll take a look at the awards, and then I can show anybody anything that needs to be shown before we wrap it up. So Ross is the MVP frontrunner, as he should be. Lamar in second, Hector in third. Interesting. Wink, wink. Jax is in favor for Coach of the Year. Shouldn't that be the Tank Bowl? Call it the Toilet Bowl. We might just have to simcast that game like we did last time. Just because it's so bad. Okay, so I know people are going to want to see stats. So if you're here and you want to see your team's stats, put your team name in the chat, and we'll go in order of who says what. And then I also have to check the Ravens' corners, I think. You have a week 4. I like late buys. I think late buy, at least in real life, I like late buys, which is exactly why the Lions have the earliest bye week this year, and the Packers have the latest bye week this year for like the 12th year in a row. How did we win? You guys won 35-3. It was against, wow, Jack Jackson's already 4th. I mean, quarterbacks get a big boost, but still, that feels kind of high. How is Terry McLaurin in 10th? I feel like he should be higher, even though he missed some time. All right, we're already on the Vikings, so I might as well check that. 124. Love to see it. How high was Henry Ruggs on the best receiver list? Because if Terry's 10th, then Ruggs should probably be like 5th. Khalil Mack, 3 sacks. That's not acceptable. All right, next one I got is the Niners. Kaboom. Wow, Justin Fields really was horrible. Chubb has more sacks than Mack and Garrett combined. So in other words, Chubb has more sacks than Garrett because Khalil Mack has been pretty mid. Wow, he has 11.5 and Barrett is 9.5. This is the new Garrett and Barrett. The gang really is back together. Bison is next. So Jeff Sims isn't hurt, clearly. Yeah. Arion Grant's having a nice breakout season after winning Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. After that, I got the Cardinals. After the Cardinals, Ravens. And then after that, we have Dublin. I have Ravens corners, and then I think that is it. 600 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's the most DJ Moore stat line I've ever seen. The Cardinals. Oh, I already did the Cardinals. I'm stupid. No, I want the Shamrocks. What am I thinking? We want Dublin. Can I check who your slot receiver is? Sure can do. All right, here are the Ravens. Ka-chow. And the Niners depth chart. That would be Mr. Colt. All right. right, so if nobody else needs anything, then I guess that'll wrap it up. Next stream probably Wednesday. I'm thinking we're gonna get through 4 weeks, hopefully, if all goes well. So, yeah, also trade deadline will be before the next stream, which, again, I'm planning to be Wednesday. So get in all your trades by then. I plan on doing the re-signing thing today, just so you guys can see who you need to pay /trade. So, yeah, that'll wrap it up.